you're on a debt-free journey, it just makes sense that you would want to watch other people on their debt-free journey. Because who wants to do long, hard, and socially unpopular things by themselves? I think it's just human nature to want that camaraderie and to know that you're not alone and somebody's there with you. But I just want to give a gentle reminder in case you lose sight of this. Be careful not to cross into dangerous comparison. And there is a fine line. There's the extreme of keeping up with the Joneses. I'm not where they are. They're better than me. I can never get there. I was so irresponsible to get all this debt. Or even worse, I'm a bad mother because I brought children into this world with all this debt. And down the rabbit hole of guilt, shame, depression, everything else. And the result of all that is just zero motivation. And without motivation, you can't even really get started. Or you can't even complete what if you do get started. And all of that came about, all that junk came about because of comparing yourself to someone else, comparing yourself too much to them. But the same is true for the other extreme of you do you, boo, and you're on your own journey, and YOLO, kind of in, kind of out, and wishing and hoping one day all the debt will go away with no real plan or anything to make that happen. It's the idea that I can see what people around me are doing, but I don't have to do the same thing, especially if it involves a bunch of sacrifice and hard work and just about anything that I don't like. I'm not doing it. That kind of thinking keeps people from reaching their full potential too. Now, call it a slippery slope or illogical fallacy or whatever you want to put a label on it, but I'm literally just sharing with you what I know. I know because I've been there on both extremes, which is why our debt-free journey has taken us almost 10 years. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to look up a decade later and wonder why you're in the same spot that you started at, or maybe just a few steps ahead, but not achieving the goal. To make real progress, you have to make a firm decision. It's like no turning back. This is what we're doing, going all in. Becoming debt-free has to be a top priority. Now, of course, money's not everything. Money's not life. Debt-free isn't life. I mean, it is important. There's more to life than just money. Not, eating, sleeping, breathing, money, 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 money. But if this goal of becoming debt-free is not a top priority and a very short list, then you'll find reasons not to achieve it. Or you won't achieve it like as quickly as you could. That's what I mean by reaching your full potential. Now, if you're okay, with going slow and still enjoying life and still trying to achieve this goal of becoming debt-free, then, maybe all this doesn't apply to you. But if I'm in an uncomfortable, undesirable situation, I want to get out of it as soon as possible. It's a lot like childbirth. You mothers out there can relate. You can get the medication to kind of ease the pain, but that doesn't mean you want to sit, in labor, for hours and hours, even though, I'm comfortable. No, you want it to end. You don't want to be in labor longer than you have to. You want some relief. And not just, selfishly, but, you want to see this beautiful creation that's been growing inside of you for almost a year. You want to finally see, hey, who are you? And enjoy that baby. So my mother was extremely wise. And I say was, she's still with us, but, growing up, she would share these little nuggets of wisdom. And one thing I remember her saying is to have a happy medium. She would say, Alina, don't get too happy and don't get too sad. And there's a lot of wisdom in that, to just how our family kind of played out growing up. But she was also a licensed substance abuse counselor. So she no doubt saw a lot and, heard a lot of people sharing their story with her. And I say all that to basically say that I don't want our debt-free journey to ever be a discouragement to anyone. But I'm seeing a lot of like new finance, debt-free journey, budgeting channels popping up on YouTube because, I like the motivation too. It helps me to hear other people on this journey too. But I'm seeing a lot of people at the beginning of their journey. They're at the bottom, they're with the heavy amount of debt, debt that may be more than their yearly salary. We were there too. We had 6 figures of debt. That was probably double our salary at the time. Definitely at the time, possibly triple. I mean, just putting it out there. And, just to be transparent, I felt pretty hopeless. I did not see a way out. And like I said, I was searching for some sort of motivation, somebody to compare myself to. And I saw all these debt-free screens and other channels on YouTube of families and people who didn't look like me as far as family structure, maybe otherwise. But as far as family structure, they were either single or, they were dinks. They were dual income, no kids. And here we are, we had, 2 parents and 2 children, 2 small children. And their financial background was just different. I mean, their household incomes were usually, $100,000 plus, like more than that. And they kind of like seemed to breeze through their debt-free journey like in 12 to 18 months, and here we are, going year after year after year on a debt-free journey, just with the weight of this debt constantly on us year after year after year. We did not show a lot of our journey back then. People can see that we have $39,000 left and think they can't relate to our journey, or I can't relate to your journey. But again, I think you have to walk that line of comparison, to borrow from Mr. Johnny Cash, walk the line. It's the side of sort of like exercising and that discomfort. Obviously, you don't want to exercise so hard to the point of, passing out and everything else, but experts say, in order to have the results from those exercises, your heart rate needs to be elevated. Like you need to be, working that muscle, but then again, like I said, you don't want to be on that other extreme either. That happy medium, that walking the line. So I believe in universal truths where some things are just true for everybody. If we jump, if I jump, if you jump, we all get the same result. We all come back down. Gravity is a universal truth. Nobody's excluded. It's just going to be the same for everybody. It's not well, that's true for you, but it may not be true for me. No, it's not. At the same time, I acknowledge that there are differences. This shirt I'm wearing may not fit you. It may fit you. But when it comes to the debt-free journey, I think it works the same sort of way. I think that category of universal truths, sacrifice and discomfort and hard work and resilience, I think all of that falls into the universal truth category. And then I think the extent to all of that and what that looks like and how you're making those kind of sacrifices, discomforts and all that stuff, I think that's where it goes into a little more individualized situations, depending on family structure, income, skills and abilities, all of that. So I remember when I was pregnant with my first baby, my little girl, and it was towards the end, and the doctor was trying to explain to me basically how I would know it was time to come back to the hospital to give birth. It was like one of the last appointments because, I had, some aches and pains and some, oh no, it's time kind of moments. And she's like, no. Listen here. You will know the real labor contractions. If you can talk and joke and hold a conversation, that ain't it. But when the pains start taking your breath away and you got to stop a minute and just kind of like breathe through it, then it's time. Then you need to get your bags, let's go, hop in the car, it's go time. So friends, the debt-free journey, it's work. It's exercise. It's building a muscle. It is making gains. And in the moment, it is not going to feel nice. And if you're new to it, you're going to handle it a little different than someone who's been doing it for a while. please be careful about comparing yourself. So let it inspire you and to brainstorm new ideas and get motivated to keep going because somebody out here is, out there and they're doing it too. But be honest about your limitations. Be honest just about the idea of time and those universal truths and where just some things just aren't going to fit. The shame and regret and, the feelings of inadequacy that you get from crossing into that dangerous comparison, it's not worth it. Take it from me. It is not worth it.